Three Demons Book 2, Chapter 3, Bomb Defusal. As the group begins to attempt to break Benji from his bubble, a black wire begins to come out of the top of Cello's fist. You impressed yet? This is my soul bond. These thick black wires allow me to seal anyone's power when attached. Cello says braggadociously, but when he turns to everyone else, he notices they are chatting with one another, coming up with a plan without him and not giving him any attention. Hey, can't you see I've gotten him out from under his bed? Cello screams out as Benji is forced out from under his bed. Nice job, Cello, Randy tells Cello, getting his name wrong, which continues to irritate Cello. I suggest we get him outside. It would be safer to attempt this in an open field. Kitsune tells everyone, offering up an idea. Cello walks with Benji, the wire connecting the two together as everyone heads outside. It's like the boy has a leash attached to his head, Joseph exclaims in the subconscious. As Benji is being escorted, he begins pleading with everyone. Please, please don't take me outside. I'm too dangerous to be out in the open. Asuka stops and kneels down in front of Benji. I promise, everything will be okay. We are only trying to help. I promise. If we thought you were too dangerous to go outside, we wouldn't be taking you out there. Asuka tells Benji with a soothing smile over her face. Benji begins to fight back, a little less than what he was before, but it is clear he is still very hesitant about the whole situation, despite everyone reassuring him otherwise. As the group gets outside, Cello and Benji are both standing opposite from the rest of the group, wondering what the next step should be. Being very aware they have to be very careful with Benji. Kitsune then steps forward. I have an idea. Kitsune then puts her hand out as a ball of water forms in her hand. She calls out to Benji and begins chasing him using the water to scare him as they run all across the backyard area behind the clubhouse. Asuka then screams out, Kitsune, that is not gonna work. That's only gonna scare him even more. Randy just stares at the situation with a blank face as Joseph chimes in within the subconscious. Aren't you gonna do anything? I mean, I really don't know what to do here, Randy reveals, leaving Joseph awestrucken. Joseph then turns to Jake. Please tell me you have a plan for the boy. Jake, who has been floating midair while laying back on his scythe, just glances at Joseph without saying anything. You both are fucking useless! Joseph screams out at the two. It's not like you would do any better. Randy fires back at Joseph. This leaves Joseph feeling insulted. Joke's on you, I would be an amazing father! Joseph proudly exclaims as Randy and Jake both continue to ignore him. Ava finally gets in the middle of Kitsune chasing Benji as Benji is hiding behind Randy. Papa, that girl is scary. Benji tells Randy very frightened as Randy just stares at him with a blank expression. Now, Kitsune, what gave you the idea to scare that poor boy using water of all things? Ava asks Kitsune. Scaring people typically makes them obedient. I use water since he's a cyborg. Duh. Kitsune tells Ava with a very unforgiving look on her face. Randy just sighs. Look, I highly doubt that would have worked anyway. The kid is scared enough, and it doesn't really look like he's more obedient than before. Seems like he's obedient to you, Papa. Kitsune fires back, mocking Randy by calling him what Benji has just been calling him. Wait, did that sound a bit sexual to y'all? Joseph chimes in. Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. Jake exclaims proudly with a perverted look on his face. Randy looks over at Ava. You think you could do that healing ritual thing you've been doing on me recently? Ava smirks at Randy. Well, well, so what happened on the roof wasn't enough for you, I see? Alder switched to Jake. Jake immediately starts blushing as a small streak of blood starts coming out of his nose, but Asuka immediately grabs and pulls on Jake's ears. What does she mean by that, Jake? Not what Randy meant. Jake responds the best he can whilst feeling pained by his ear being pulled. What in the hell is wrong with these people? Cello asks himself out loud. I ask myself the same thing every now and again. Kitsune responds as the two look at the situation that is unfolding in front of them. Now, children, you can't be flirting with one another when there is a more important matter on your hands. A familiar voice says, coming out of the nearby brush. Jake immediately looks up and notices the man as soon as he sees him. What the hell are you doing here, Zol? As Jake says this, everyone gets serious. It looks like they're preparing themselves for a potential fight. Calm down now, I'm not here to cause any trouble. Though I am here to tell you that everything you're trying, even everything that you have thought about doing, none of that is going to work, Azul reveals with a confident bravado about himself. Everyone then has a shocked look on their face as Alva steps forward. As the second in command of the Gabrielle Company, I demand you tell me how you know anything about Benji or his situation. Alva tells Azul, demanding that he tells her everything that he knows. Azul smirks. Be honest with yourself. Lady Rhea isn't that great with hiding the truth about her supernatural backstory. Azul then snaps as a barrier forms around the area. She should have been using a Tiho barrier outside. Outside this, baby, time itself is at a standstill. The only people aware of the ongoings inside this barrier are individuals with any sort of supernatural awareness. This is something all demons should know, obviously. Azul continues. So I take it that makes you a demon? Kitsune asks Azul. Azul then smirks. Well, actually... Azul continues as black feathered wings appear from his back. I'm actually a fallen angel. Jake's eyes then widen as he summons his scythe and charges at Azul, as if the fallen angel wings were some sort of trigger, to the point where Jake didn't even use his time stop. Jake swings his scythe at Azul. However, Azul is able to stop the attack with just his pinky. Calm down, Jake. You're scaring the poor boy. Alter switch to Randy. Randy's eyes widen as he falls to the ground, immediately looking back at Benji as he sees Benji shaking and on the brink of tears. Welcome back to the party, Randy. I want you to listen to me when I tell you this. You will never be able to succeed in maintaining that boy's emotions. Not without him being able to trust you, and everyone here. Scaring him with water, flirting with one another in front of him, attaching a wire to his head and controlling him like a puppet. None of that is going to work. Azul tells Randy, kneeling down to look him in the eyes. Azul stands back up and begins to head out. However, he stops and turns back at Cello. Oh, by the way, that soul bond you have, if you train properly, you'll be able to do a lot more than seal and control people. Azul tells Cello with a grin before disappearing back into the brush, leaving everyone stunned. An hour has passed and Benji has once again secluded himself into his room. Ava and Asuka both pleading with him to come out, but he continues to tell them to go away. You know, you guys fucking suck at this. Let me have a go, Joseph demands in the subconscious. Oh, please, you would cause him to set that bomb off inside him. Jake immediately shuts down Joseph, but Joseph is not backing down. Oh, please, mister, my attack got stopped by a fucking pinky. I don't see anyone else here doing any better. I can guarantee I can help the boy more than everyone here. Randy then interrupts the two. They'd be my guest, Randy says, staring into an oblivion, clearly lost in thought. Jake was about to protest, then he saw how Randy was acting and decided to let Joseph do his thing. Alter switched to Joseph. Asuka immediately notices the change from Randy to Joseph as she looks over at Joseph. Alright, everybody, move over. I got this, Joseph confidently exclaims. Asuka is a bit hesitant. Joseph, are you sure? Joseph then interrupts her. Yes, I'm fucking sure! Joseph opens up the door and enters the pitch-black room, snapping his fingers, locking and slamming the door behind him from the inside. Asuka notices and tries to open the door, only to confirm the door had been locked. Did that moron just lock himself in there? Silo screams out. Joseph then taps the ground with his fingers, causing the area to be dimly lit, so he could see where Benji was at. Benji was hiding in a corner, rolled up in a ball and shaking. Please go away. I don't want to be around anyone. Benji loudly pleads with Joseph, but Joseph doesn't listen to his pleading as he walks towards him. As Joseph kneels down in front of Benji, he screams and his body begins to glow in a blue light. No, damn it! Joseph quickly places his palm on Benji's chest, causing a sense of reality to be stopped in his tracks, as Benji and Joseph both find themselves in a sort of pocket space. Why are you trying to help me so much? I can't take all of this. This bomb inside me. Benji begins rambling as Joseph stops him. Benji, that's enough! Joseph sternly snaps at Benji as Benji looks up at Joseph with a stunned expression. That has been said countless times by countless different people. I've honestly had enough of it. The more that damn bomb is mentioned, the more you feel like a monster. You are not a monster. You have people you care about. Rhea, everyone else. Benji looks down at Joseph. Looks down, but Joseph holds his head back up as he looks him in the eye to continue speaking to him. I'm gonna tell you a secret. The very moment you called Randy Papa, you became the most important thing to him. though his stubborn ass will never admit it. Benji begins to look confused. Aren't you, Papa? Well, yes and no. I'm Joseph. You saw Jake try to attack that fallen angel guy, and Randy is the one when you saw everyone the first time. So you have like a personality problem? Benji asks. Yes, but that's not important right now. What's important is that you trust us to help you. This thing you are afraid of, you don't need to let it control you, Benji. Joseph continues as Benji begins to become very teary-eyed. Look, we are strong enough to protect you. We just fought to get Rhea out of a marriage she did not want to be a part of. We all have our means to protect you, and we want to protect you. Because to us you are family. Because that is the most important thing in this world. Family. Whether or not that family is related to you or not. Because family runs a lot thicker than blood. Joseph finishes his speech as Benji buries his face into his chest crying and thanking Joseph. Joseph smiles as he holds Benji close to him. As long as me, Randy, Jake, any of us are around, I promise nothing will happen to you. Benji begins snuffling. Thank you, Father. Back out in reality, everyone outside the door begins feeling this great presence of energy as a bright blue light begins to poke out from the crevices of the door. However, the light immediately disappears, and then the door opens. Joseph walks out holding Benji's arms, as, Benji is riding on his back, the two of them with big smiles on their face. I fucking told y'all I could do it! End of chapter 3.